Hi everybody, Sandy Bacus. How's everybody doing? I'm doing great. Today is Friday, February 9th. I'm in a different spot, and the reason for that is it's snowing outside, and I was afraid I wouldn't have enough light in the other room, so I came into the dining room, which has some big sliding glass doors here next to me and also an overhead light. And I thought that might help a little bit with the lighting. I'm sitting in a much lower chair, so I feel like I'm short all of a sudden. But we'll go with it. It's just for this one time probably. Let's see. I want to welcome everybody back and welcome new subscribers. I noticed that there have been a few more, and I'd like to say thank you very much for watching, and thank you very much for subscribing, leaving comments, and liking. We had some lively comments after last week's video, and I really enjoyed reading each and every one of them and about all of your experiences with music, and also with where were you, or when this happened, do you remember? And it was really, really interesting. And I want to thank everybody for leaving those comments. I did forget to mention that I also, and my husband reminded me of this, that some years ago, Cher had a farewell tour. Of course, it wasn't her last one, but she called it her farewell tour. And my husband and I went to see that because, as I said in the last video, I've always loved Cher. And I think I put in the description that the singer I couldn't remember that my daughter and I went to see was Dwight Yoakam. I really used to enjoy his music. Don't hear too much from him anymore, but okay, so I said it is snowing. We've had quite a bit of snow over this past week. Tuesday morning, I got up about, I don't know, it must have been about 5:30 in the morning, and walked into the bathroom and was greeted by all these flashing lights, and looked out, and here a car had slid off the road next door and gone into the ditch. We live on a county road, right on a curve. It's a banked curve, and people come around the curve too fast. And the big part of the curve is right in front of my house, and generally what happens is, depending on which direction people are going in, they either end up in one of the ditches, one or two doors down, or in the ditch the other way. And usually in the morning they're coming from the west going to the east, because the crossroads with the state route is just up the road, and they end up in those big deep ditches. And they're not little ditches, they're deep, they're steep, and when a car slides down in there, it's like sitting with the whichever side door goes in first. It's like smack right up against that, and so it's quite a feat to pull those out of there. And there's a lot of trees along here, and there's a lot of signs, the curve signs and everything. In fact, I saw the county workers out there yesterday were going along and replacing all the curve signs. I haven't been outside, so I don't know if they changed them in any way. I just know that they were out there changing them. We live on the eastern edge of Erie County. So we're less than a mile away from Lorain County. So, and this is a county road, so it's the county highway system that comes out and plows out here. And sometimes it takes them a while to get all the way out here because we're so far on the edge. But they do a pretty good job. And so I hope everybody that was, or person or persons that were in that vehicle were okay. But they did get it out finally. Let's see. The other thing I wanted to mention was, how many of you watch Danielle, Stitcherista? I have been watching her videos for a while, and I've kind of been watching her on her diet journey. And she started out, she was going to do low carb, and she's now kind of tweaking it because that is a very difficult diet to follow. I mean, carbs are comfort food. And I've done that because I was diagnosed as diabetic, and I had to follow that diet for a while to try to get things back in sync, because I'm not taking any medication for my diabetes. I am doing it with diet. And I've not been exercising as much as I should, so I'm going to have to get back on track with that. But I want to just say for Danielle, I don't know, she probably doesn't watch my videos, but to put yourself out there like she did with the picture that she put on, and then to step on a scale in front of the FLOSSTUBE world, that's a big thing. I could never, ever do that. And she's doing it, and she's losing some weight, and she's doing it slowly, which is the best possible way to do it. So just a big shout out to Danielle Stitcherista for having the guts to have a goal and go for it online for the world to see. So you go, girl. Okay, last week's talk, as I said, brought about quite a few comments, and thanks again for all of those comments. I really enjoyed reading all of those. And there was a few days there where it took me a while to answer some of them, but I always read them, I always answer them. I've been doing some kitting here this week. Crossed Its Finish Line had a kitting sale, and so I got some things together. And because I'm in a different spot here and things are kind of moved around differently, I may have to get up and down a couple of times just to be able to reach the stuff. I'm sitting at my dining room table. Excuse me, drink a coffee there. And I'm going to try to do this the best way that I can, but it may mean moving a lot of stuff around, and so bear with me. Okay, so the kitting I did was, and I will explain to you about Japanese garden, but this was the material for the Japanese garden, which I'll tell you in a minute what happened with that. And this is the chart. I don't have a picture of this chart, so I'm just going to hold it back here. So I thought this was kind of just cute, and I thought it might be kind of a quick stitch. And so I got, it's called Do All Things. And it says at the top, do all things with love. And I just thought it was kind of a cute, and maybe won't take forever. So I thought I could stick it in with some of my full coverage pieces to give me a break. And I'm going to use the 16 count light blue Aida that was from the Dimensions Japanese Garden kit. So there's that one. So let me just stick this over here. And if I'm getting my face up right next to the camera, I apologize. Nobody wants to see me that close up. And the next one that I'm doing, or that I kitted up, is, it's just a birdhouse, and doesn't really have a name. And these are magazine charts, and I thought this was so pretty. It's a birdhouse with the little bird up there on the top, and it has purples in it, and purple's one of my favorite colors. And so, of course, I'm going to do it on some purple fabric. And if you can see that, it's pretty true to color that I'm seeing. I'm not sure what you're seeing, but from what I'm seeing, that's pretty true to color. And that is a 16 count Aida. It's called Dark Lavender, and it's Fabrics by LJ. And I bought this from Jo Gregory when she was unloading some of her stash. And I love that color. I think that's going to be beautiful. So I'm going to be starting those sometime here within, itchy nose, sorry, within the next, I don't know, month or so. My birthday's coming up later this month. I definitely want to have a new start on my birthday. And I kind of got the itch, you know, how you get that feeling that, oh, I think I want to start something. Well, that's kind of where I'm at right now. So we'll see. Might be this week I'll start one of those. All right, let me get over here where I can uncover my notes again. Okay, so that was my kitting. My whips. I have been working on my kittens. And this was on Coffee Tea Dyed Ada that I kind of burnt a little bit, but I'm using it because it looks all right. And here they are. I have 2 entirely finished kittens. I'm calling them kittens. And the saying on there is there's one in every crowd. And this was I think it's in a leisure arts. I don't have it down here. I think it was a leisure arts booklet, but anyways, there's that one. I have one more kitty to do, and this is a fairly quick stitch, so I will be getting that finished maybe today, at least. Well, maybe not, because I'm going to do the cross stitch finish line stitch-a-thon that starts at 5 today. So, and I have a lot of work to do around the house, so I may not get this finished today, but at least the first of the week it will be. Okay, now we're going to talk about Japanese garden. And last weekend I was just fit to be tied, and so the frustration was so high, but everybody knows Japanese garden, beautiful, 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 and it's a dimensions kit. Okay, so it came with that 16 count light blue Ada that was stiffer than stiff. And you guys will remember, I tried soaking it in water. I then tried soaking it in water with dishwashing liquid. Then I tried scrunching it up, and it did soften it to the point where I could roll it up and everything. But I sat down last week after I had done my video on Friday, and I was got some things done around the house, and then I picked it up and towards evening, and I went to start to work on that thing. And pushing my needle in and out of those holes on that fabric was just, my fingers were getting so sore. And I thought, you know what, this is just gonna, I may have done everything I can to this fabric to soften it up, but this is going to drive me insane. And I think I snapped. I took the thing upstairs and I wadded it up in a ball and I threw it across the room. And that's not usually how I am. I'm usually pretty calm and collected, but when I lose it, I lose it. Just ask my husband, he'll tell you. But I thought, you know what, I got to do something else. So I pulled out that other fabric that I had shown you before, the little bit deeper blue, and I had never really measured this. This came from someone else that was getting rid of their stash, and it's a huge, great big piece, and so I thought it was 18 count, so I just went up there. I cut a big chunk out of it, what I thought would work, and I brought it down and I started to stitch. And I'm looking at it and I'm going, these holes are really, really tiny. Well, then my eyes started bothering me, and so I put it away and watched some TV. So on Saturday, when I got to the point where I could do some stitching, hang on a second, I need another drink of my coffee here. French vanilla decaf from my Keurig. Okay, so Saturday I got it out and I started working on it again, and I thought, these holes are just, my Bayside Cottage is 18 count. Now I didn't remember it being this difficult to see. And, you know, I'm already using an LED light with a magnifier. And I thought, boy, oh boy, oh boy. And after putting, I don't know how many stitches into it with using 2 threads, and I'm like fighting, and when I'm getting to the point where I've got to put a stitch next to a stitch, it was like nearly impossible. And I thought, uh-oh, something, you know, something's not right. So I went up and I got my little ruler like that you put on your fabric, and it has like, this is 11 count, this is 14, this is 18, 22 count. You know, I can barely see 18 count. Why the heck am I trying to stitch on 22? But I didn't know it was 22. So I looked at those stitches and they just looked terrible. And I thought, you know what? I can't get the stitches that the fill in, because I was doing cross country. And I thought, I can't get the stitches for the fill in there. And then I'm looking over the chart and I'm looking where it says for some of the stitches, they want you to use 4 strands of floss. And I thought, there is no way that that is going to work. So I started frogging. And I frogged and I frogged and I frogged until I got it all out of there. And then I thought, okay, now what am I going to do? Am I going to get rid of this material too and try to find something else? I have, you know, I didn't have any other really light blue that I wanted to use. So, and I thought, I really want to use the blue. So I thought, what if I did 1/1? Wonder how that would work. So that's what I did. And I started out, there's a lot of half stitches with Dimensions kits. Started out, I put them half stitches in. And then I went back and I put the other leg on them all because the half stitches weren't really showing up. So what I've done is, it's quite a bit, but it doesn't look like much because of the fact that the stitches are so teeny tiny. But I'm going to fold this a little bit so that it'll make it easier for you to see what I have. But there it is. Can you see it? A lot of teeny tiny little stitches. For me, that's like working on 40 count. And it's 1/1, 22 count. And I really like the way it looks. Although it's going to be a much smaller project than originally, and I should have more than enough fabric here. But I think that I'm gonna like it, and that's who I have to please, is me. So I'll show it to you there one more time. I went back and I filled in, I was doing cross country, but then I went back in and I filled in this whole section here, because I was using pencil on my chart, and I had marked off, erased so many times that it wasn't erasing anymore. So I wanted to get that whole section filled in so that I could read the chart better, because it was getting really difficult. Now I've covered most of that, and now when I go back to it, it'll be chart that hasn't been marked over so much, and I should be able to make some progress on that. For the Stitchathon tonight, I don't think I'll work on that because that is very slow go. I can only do it when there's daylight. I can work on it for a while, then I have to get up and rest my eyes because it's just, it's really hard on the eyes. For me, anyways. I know there's a lot of people that work on 32, 36, 40, 46. Not these eyes, not at this stage in my life. Okay, so that's the story behind Japanese Garden, and it will get done, but just don't ever ask me when. I'm going to keep plugging away at it. Okay, so I didn't have any finishes. I didn't have any purchases. I was good. Well, I did buy some floss to kit those projects up. I needed a few. So first of all, I want to say, as far as the charts and giving them away, I have not sent out any of last week's. And it's, you know, I'm not going to say it's laziness. It's that I don't want to go trek out through the snow. I have to go to a mailbox, and my driveway is kind of long, and my husband has not plowed the driveway. It's not real easy to do that. He has to use a tractor, which means he has to trek all the way to the barn, and he's been having a lot of trouble with the plow attachment on the front of the tractor. And so if we can get in and out of the driveway, then he hasn't been plowing. So with his Parkinson's and stuff, I can't fault him for that. But in order to go to the mailbox, I'd have to put on coat, hat, boots, and I just haven't felt like trekking it. So they're all addressed. I will get those out. But if you're waiting on charts from me, if now or anytime in the future during the winter, they're coming. I just may be a little slow getting them out there to that mailbox and getting them going. Okay, so the winners. I used the random number generator. Let me see. Oh, here they are right here. And some of the charts had no interest. So this one here, eat your veggies, nobody wanted. The baby sampler, nobody wanted that one. So I'll just put these away. If you see them today and you say, oh, I'd like to have that, then let me know, and I will send it to you. Once I've shown it on here, then all you have to do is just claim it in a comment or send me an email. My email address is always in the description, and anytime you want to, even if you want to just have a conversation, feel free, send me an email. And the stocking, nobody wanted that one. So the interest was in the zinnia and the cat in the window. And the zinnia was won by Verpy R. So Verpy, I have your address. I will get that one out to you. And the cat in the window was won by So Createful. And I have your address. So I will get that one out to you. So congratulations on those. Here's some more to show you. This is a real pretty one. This is, let's see, I was looking to see who the designer on this one is. I think it's Judy Crispin's, but I'm not sure. But anyways, here you go. Pretty. So if you're interested in this one, just say you'd like to stitch the bird in a cage. And the next one is called Apple Days. And this is from Cross Stitch Magazine. Don't know when. Maybe it's Virginia Soskin. Not for sure. But anyways, there you go. It's a sampler type. If you would like to stitch this one, then tell me you'd like to stitch Apple Days. And this one is a Thanksgiving one. And this is also Cross Stitch Magazine. And D. Selby, it looks like, is the designer on this one. Pretty, pretty, pretty. Next one is another sampler. This is a Betsy Ross sampler, and also from Cross Stitch Magazine. And not sure. Oh, it says Virginia Soskin on here again, so it might be another one. That one is very pretty. So if you're interested in this one, you would like to stitch the Betsy Ross sampler. And one last one, and this one is called By the Sea, and Lucille La Flamme, also a cross stitch magazine. So if you're interested in this one, tell me you'd like to stitch By the Sea. So that takes care of that. I'll put those over there. I thought maybe I'd take just a few minutes. We're at just past 25 minutes, so we'll take just a few minutes here. I'll show you a little bit more of the my magazine stash. And so here is that one. These are the ones that I have kept that I could possibly stitch these in the future. Oh, cat. Cat outside. That's one of my cats outside. It's that one. And I'm just going to show you a couple of these, and then I'm going to turn the camera around and let you see outside. And this one. It looks like it's either stopped snowing now or that it is snowing very, very lightly out now. It was supposed to stop, so there's the raccoon. And we'll stop right there. I don't want to bore you. And I'm going to try to turn the camera around, let you see what it looks like outside today. And put that over there, and we'll try to slide this whole business around. I have my laptop up on 2 plastic boxes here, so I've got to watch my cord because my laptop battery does not work good anymore and it cannot be replaced. Of course, 2-year-old laptop and you can't replace the battery. Alright, so I'm just going to swing you around really, really slowly. See my plant that runs everywhere. It's the only plant I haven't killed yet. And I'm going to try to swing with this so I can see what you're seeing, so that I know what's going on without everything falling on the floor. Okay, we're getting to the window here. Very slowly. Don't want my stuff to fall here. Alright, so I hope that you're not getting too much glare from the window. But that's our deck. And our trailer out there in the back, right here. Whoops, which way? This way. Our trailer. When it's not frozen to the ground, we hook it up to the tractor and put the wood in it from out beside the barn and bring it up to the side of the house. And we have what used to be a window to the basement. We have a wood chute there, and we throw the wood in through the wood chute and it goes down into a box in the basement near our wood furnace. And if I turn you around a little bit more here, you'll see there is whoops, Rhonda, it's really hard to do this, you know. There, right there. Okay, there's a shed. That's where the riding lawnmower is kept and everything. And then back behind that, you'll see the barn. And that has a big car lift in it. My husband used to work on classic cars and stuff when we owned them. And there's a lean-to on the one side of the barn. You can't really see it. It's over, well, right. Whoa, I can't even do this. It's over there on that side of the barn. There's a lean-to, and all of our wood and everything is stacked underneath that. So we have to cart it all the way from back out there up. And if I keep turning this, that's pretty much all you can see out of that window. Down below, there is a porch on the back of the house, and you can see that there is, and I hope you're being able to see that there's not a whole lot of glare there, but we have a ton of trees back there. So we have almost 5 acres altogether, and most of it is got trees on it. So I'm going to say, come back here, and I'm going to say so long for this week. And if any Friday, if you don't see a video come up from me, then that just means that I probably didn't have much to show you. But I'll try to come back and say hi. And for just a second here, I'm going to try to move this so you can see my kitties down here. They're looking out the window. So let's see how this works. I'm going to bring this down and hope I don't drop something. I don't know how this is going to work, but we're going to go for it. All right, guys, can I see you in there? This may not work because this is a laptop and I'm trying to, oh, there's somebody. Oh, somebody ran. All right, that is not going to work. So I'm going to say goodbye. So long. Have a good week. Happy stitching to everybody.